By now, you've hopefully seen some of the challenges that you should expect if you're trying to implement Scrum in your organization. If you've made it this far and you're still keen to adopt Scrum, it's worth considering a few things before you get started. Firstly, why do you want to bring Scrum to your organization? You really need to be able to answer this. And although we've enumerated Scrum's advantages, things like quicker time to market, higher quality, better morale, you need to understand exactly what you want to achieve in your organization by adopting Scrum. That is, what benefits can you measure in demonstrating that Scrum has been effective for you? Before you even get started, though, it's worth asking why previous attempts at improving the way we do work haven't worked. Undoubtedly, you've tried other things in your organization that never caught on. Why was that? How can that pattern be prevented this time around? If you don't truly believe that this implementation of Scrum will be different and have better results than previous efforts, then why bother? Know how and why this change will be different for your organization. John Paul Cotter is a professor at the Harvard School of Business and a very successful author regarded as an authority on leadership and change. His book, Leading Change, is on many people's bookshelves, and he's worked with Ken Schwaber at Scrum.org to help create adoption models for Scrum within an organization. John Cotter's 8-step organizational change model is just as valid for bootstrapping Scrum in your organization as any other major cultural change. The first step is to ask what will happen if we stay the same. That is, everyone needs to understand why this change must occur. Next, we must ensure there is a team with adequate power in the organization to implement these changes. In our case, we're talking about a Scrum adoption team. Think to yourself who the members of that team would be in your organization. Develop a vision and strategy for what it will be like after the changes are in place. Be able to paint a picture of your organization a year after Scrum is adopted, and then talk about it a lot. Use every possible vehicle and ensure that leaders in your company exemplify this vision. Eliminate obstacles and encourage risk-taking amongst the teams. This will take a while if you're trying to retrain behaviors of simply complying with existing norms. Immediate visible successes need to be celebrated. Small things like one team has executed a sprint and delivered an increment of working software. That's worth talking about. That's worth celebrating. Be relentless. If you give the impression that the change to Scrum is optional, you've opened the door to subversion. And finally, change disappears if it's not continually fostered. So reward those in the organization that contribute to the success of Scrum's adoption. One last thing from John Cotter that I really like to use is his book, Our Iceberg is Melting. This is a very short parable that one can read in an evening or two. This book tells the story of a group of penguins that must make a large cultural change. And it walks us through the 8 steps we see here. This book is a very nice way to instigate good conversations in your organization. Read it and pass it around, and then bring people together to discuss what change really means.